Today we'll be traveling on board of a Frecciarossa 1000 high-speed train. These are the flagship trains of the Italian state-owned railway company Trenitalia. We'll be traveling from Naples in the south of Italy to Milan in the north, not far away from the border with both Switzerland and France. What it's like to travel on board of these trains, I'll show you all in this video. Join us on board of this Frecciarossa 1000 high-speed train here in Italy that we took from Naples to Milan in the north. For now, let's get this video on the track and let's roll the intro. Before we dive into all of this, let's take a close look on the route map for today. And spoiler alert, this map is not their exact line, it's a little bit different. We start in Naples. From there on our train goes to Rome, makes another stop in Bologna, and from there on our train moves straight to Milan. Serving also two smaller railway stations, one in Naples and one in Milan. So we start this journey in Naples, where we arrived by ferry from Sicily. From and to Sicily you obviously also find trains. We also went by train to Sicily, and actually we came from Malta. There are trip reports about all of this as well on this YouTube channel. Related videos can be found in the description of this video. The ferry terminal is a kind of chaotic, and I also found the same thing in Sicily. Anyway, from the ferry terminal of Naples, it's only a short walk to the underground, and we took the underground to the main railway station of Naples, what is Napoli Centrale or Naples Central Railway Station. Even though the metro stop is not called like that, it's called Garibaldi. Basically, these are two stations in one. I'll show you a bit more later on. Obviously, the metro is located at the underground section. If you get out at the metro, you get out at this area here, what is a kind of a shopping mall that's half underground and at the front of the railway station. If you move away from the train station from this point, you get out at the tram stop, what's not too far away from here either. Napoli Centrale is a terminal railway station, and it's located on ground level. However, at the underground section, you will find another railway station for mainline trains, what's actually only being used for regional trains, and that's called Garibaldi railway station. So this is also why the metro stop is called Garibaldi. To make things a little bit more complicated, you do find another station here as well. That railway station is for the Circumvesuviana, if I pronounce it right. These trains and also most of the railway stations are rather simple, but in a way I like them. However, keep in mind, accessibility is not really a thing for those trains. Those trains are the best option if you want to visit Pompeii, for example, but also if you want to go towards the Amphi coast. Then you find the underground section for the mainline trains, what is also called Garibaldi railway station. This has been marked pretty clear in the underground section of Napoli Centrale or Napoli Garibaldi railway station, just how you want to mention it. The area for the mainline trains at the underground section is much more spacious. These trains do also go to Pompeii, for example. However, if you want to visit the ruins of Pompeii, the narrow gauge railway lines with the simple trains that do depart a little bit more at the side are actually a way better alternative. Access gates are available in this railway station as well, even though at the moment we were there, they were just open and there was staff available to check the tickets. In general, my experience is that there is pretty much always staff available at the moment these access gates are closed as well. Vending machines for these regional trains and also long distance trains can be found at several spots over here. But for now it's time to head to the Napoli Centrale part of the railway station, where our train departs from. The directions have been marked pretty clear, and if you go from the underground section to the Napoli Centrale area, there are clear screens with information about departing trains from there. Napoli Centrale is a terminal station. This basically means that the layout speaks basically for itself. At the end of the tracks, you do find most railway related services and shops. This includes two lounges as well, for both Italo and Trenitalia. Even though we'll be traveling in first class today, because we had a first class interrail, we didn't have lounge access for this trip. If you're traveling with the higher classes, you do have access though, but that's a little bit too fancy for this trip. Since we didn't have breakfast yet, we went to the food hall here at Napoli Centrale and had some breakfast. And while my wife was waiting here a little bit, I went for a little wander in and around the station to film a little bit more for this trip report. I also noticed at the site a bus stop, and this includes long distance buses that do depart from here, like for example this Flixbus that was also heading to Milan, but needs way more time for obvious reasons. Like you can expect, especially for a railway station of this size, at the front there is a large taxi stand and you find a pick-up and drop-off zone for railway passengers by car. For the rest, there's not that much to say about this, so let's head back to the food court and let's slowly move to the platforms. There are clear screens with information about departing trains. You do find access gates and there's also staff available to assist you, but I didn't put this that well on camera. Anyway, after you went through the kind of checked-in area, so after you went through the access gates, you end up in this area over here, and there are lots of shops as well over here. And this is our train for today. In Italy, platform numbers for departing trains do pop up pretty last minute. However, this was the only Frecciarossa standing here at the railway station, so yeah, it must be very obvious that this is our train for today. Especially because according to the timetable our train starts here and didn't start more down south. And about 20 minutes before departure the screens were displaying our train number and the final destination. Also the general departure screens were giving route information for our specific train. Today we'll be traveling on board of a Frecciarossa 1000 high-speed trains. These are the flagship trains of the Italian state-owned railway company Trenitalia. Technically, these trains are able to operate not only in Italy, but also in Austria, Belgium, France, Germany, the Netherlands, Spain and Switzerland. Domestically within France, you also find these trains where they are competing with the French state-owned railway company SNCF, and also on the route Milan to Paris, you find these trains. Within Spain, these trains are pretty common as well, but there they have a different branding and are called Erio. Trenitalia, the state-owned railway company of Italy, owns around 51% of that specific railway company. From the end of 2026, these trains are planned to operate on routes between Germany and Italy as well. Probably I'll make another video about that if I have the possibility to do so. Anyway, at the side of the train, you do find digital screens at the doors that will host the train number, the carriage number and the final destination. At the top of the door you'll find the classes that are being mentioned, like for example standard class here on the right and premium class at this carriage. In total these trains do consist of 4 different comfort categories. Standard class is most equivalent to second class, premium class is between first and second class, and business class is what's most like first class. Between the kind of second class and the first class area of the train, you will find the dining car, but the dining car is not that impressive to be honest, but it's nice that it's there. Then, at the very front of the train in this specific situation, but it might also be on the back depending what way you're moving, you will find the executive class, and that's probably one of the best travel experience you can have in European trains, but it also comes with a price tag. Anyway, today our seat was in carriage number 2. At the moment you go into the train, at the door, the row numbers that are easiest to access for that specific part of the carriage have been mentioned as well. Before we move on to the interior of the train. I hope you like this video so far. If you do so, or if it's a helpful video to you, please give me a thumbs up, I really appreciate that. If you have some questions, feedback, comments, even if you just want to say hello, feel free to leave a comment. And if you like to see more trip reports or more sustainable ways of transportation, the main focus for this channel is long distance and or international traveling, then hit that subscribe button if you haven't done this already. For now, let's continue with this video. And before we go to the interior of the train, let's have a quick look on the environmental impact if you're traveling along this route by train, car or plane. If you travel by train, the total pollution as if you compare to travel by plane is around 8.06%. However, if we take the train as a standard, what makes much more sense, then the plane pollutes 1,240.28% more than taking the train along the same route. That's 1,240.28%, so the train is the absolutely winner when it comes to this. Also, in terms of travel time, the train is most efficient. I mean, this is a high-speed train and you travel from city center to city center. So yeah, the train is the absolutely winner and we just need more trains. Between the bigger cities in Italy, you do find, thank goodness, very good high-speed lines. But even then, in terms of climate, but also in energy resources that we need that are getting more and more scarce, we just need to change our behavior and take the train more often and don't take the plane as a standard. Well, I won't dig in this too much for now. Let's take a close look at the interior of our train for today. And a little spoiler alert, actually this was not exactly the train we had today because it was a little bit too busy to film. But a year ago or so, I filmed the exact same interior of these trains on the routes in France. And this is the executive class. A day after I traveled from Naples to Milan, we also traveled on board of executive class from Milan to Paris. I mean, this is really next level luxury. It's not only the nice seats, but the service level is also really great. Well, in the specific video where I take the train from Milan to Paris, I'll show you more. There's a small meeting room as well, but honestly I don't think this will be used a lot. Actually, it will be great for some extra capacity. Between the executive class and the business class, so the regular first class, there's a small pantry that's being used for the executive class passengers as well. The toilet near the executive class is slightly fancier than the other toilets, although it's not a big difference. And this, what you see over here, is the business class or the regular first class. You do find some dedicated zones, like a silence area you can see over here, and this has been marked pretty clear. Even though this has been marked pretty clear at the side of the train, at the moment you move through the train and at the headrests. Tickets for these trains do come including a reservation, so at the moment you book your ticket, you need to take this in account. But it's always nice to be reminded about this, because if you specifically book a seat in a quiet area, well, you might like other passengers to be quiet as well. What way to go to for what facilities within the train has been marked as well at the moment you move through the train. Also, the area where you can just have a talk has been marked as well, so basically this is not the quiet area. These are long distance trains, so for luggage you obviously find a lot of space for this as well. Don't miss out on the backends between the seats. This counts for all classes, by the way. Apart from that, throughout the train in all different comfort categories, you do find overhead luggage racks for your luggage, and there are dedicated luggage racks within the compartments as well. Like I already mentioned, these trains do come including a seat reservation, and the seat numbers are located right below the luggage racks and above the windows. Let's do a seat review for the business class, the bay seats, so facing each other. There's a table between the seats that's rather sturdy and you can fold it out as well to make it slightly bigger. Very tiny litter bins are integrated within these tables, and there's not a shortage of power sockets. The power sockets are a little bit hidden though, you find them below the seats. For the airline style seats, what you have slightly less of, personally I prefer this most, you find a sturdy fold-out table in the seat in front of you, a footrest, a small litter bin, and the amount of legroom is very generous. The seats can be reclined with a button integrated within the armrest in the seats. And even though the reclinement is not that much, it's actually still pretty comfortable, to be honest. Basic snacks and drinks are also integrated in business class, but don't expect too much of this. There's a dining car as well where you can go to for more food. The dining car is located between the business class and premium class, what is a kind of second class plus. There's a nice selection of food and drinks, but don't expect too much of this. I mean, it's just really nice that it's there, and personally I really like dining cars in general. It's a nice place to go to along a longer railway journey. There's a special dedicated accessible area on board of these trains in the same carriage as where you will find the dining car. This is in the business class, so the first class like I showed you earlier on. There's just some more space for those who are traveling in a wheelchair, for example. And that's this area over here. These trains do not provide barrier-free access, so if you are traveling in a wheelchair, you need to require assistance. Let it be no surprise that the bigger accessible toilet is also located near this area, near the dining car as well. And this here is the bigger accessible toilet. This can also be used for a diaper changing facility if you're traveling with a little baby, but that doesn't only count for this toilet but also for the smaller toilets I'll show you in a bit. I mean, this is perfect if you're traveling with young kids. And even though at the moment of traveling I wasn't a father yet, I am now, so yeah, these kind of facilities, I really appreciate that. Before we continue, let's take a quick look on the regular toilets as well you find on board of these trains, and you find a lot of these toilets. They're way smaller but still pretty good. What I like about lots of Italian trains is that the toilet seats do pop up automatically. Ideal for men who don't really know how to hit the target, and especially not on a moving train. If we move on a little bit more, we get out in the premium class, kind of second class plus. You will mainly find seats facing each other. Personally, I'm not a big fan of this, even though you do find some airline style seats as well. For the bay seats, so seats facing each other, there's a table between the seats, you can fold it out to make it slightly bigger, once again the very tiny litter bin, and power sockets are also integrated within these seats. And also these seats can be reclined. Just like basically everywhere within this train, all windows do have a sunscreen, so you can block out some sunlight if it's needed on sunny days. All over the train, in all comfort categories, at the ceiling you do find screens that will host route information. This is not only in Italian but also in other languages, what is way easier for international travelers. Now let's move on to standard class, what you obviously find most on board of these trains. And statistically, if you're traveling on board of these trains, you will also travel on board of standard class. And it's not a bad product, although I'm also not impressed with it, to be honest. Anyway, there's not a shortage of power sockets at this area either. And just like everywhere, you find mainly seats facing each other, and then there's a table between the seats, you can fold it out to make it slightly bigger, and you have the very tiny litter bin again. Obviously you find the sunscreens like all over the train, and these seats can't be reclined. I mean, Frecciarossa is planning to launch a service from Berlin to Naples, and I honestly don't know if I would like to be on board this class for such a long journey. Once again, also the backends between the seats can be used for luggage. Please use this, not only for this train but for other trains in general. I see a lot of people not utilizing this. Then you find some airline style seats, and I have to say the amount of legroom is pretty okay. I mean, for this I don't mind a longer railway journey, to be honest. There's a small litter bin in the seat in front of you, and you find a sturdy fold-out table in the seat in front of you as well. Of course, you find the power sockets at the same spots as where you would find them otherwise. Within standard class, there's also a quiet zone, and this has been marked crystal clear on the headrests and also at the moment you move through the train at the compartment doors. The quiet zone is located at the very end of the train. Well, as we slowly move out of Napoli Centrale or Naples Central railway station, let me quickly tell you something about ticket fares. Basically, tickets are based on demand. So the more people book a specific train, the higher the ticket prices will get. This is partially to spread out passengers as much as possible over different trains, and also to make people book the tickets earlier. The cheapest ticket fares are having less flexibility as well. In Italy, but also in France and Spain, where you do find these trains, you do find different railway companies, and therefore my personal favorite website to book train tickets is Trainline. I do have an affiliate link in the description of this video as well. You can book tickets over there, and if you use that link, you also support this channel a little bit, so I really appreciate that. And for the people who follow me already for a longer time on YouTube, you know that I already mentioned Trainline quite a long time, so way before I even had an affiliate link. It's just really a good booking website within many European countries. For plane tickets, there are many websites where you can book plane tickets, but for trains, the options are not that great, to be honest. So therefore I really like to support the websites that are there and that are good. Anyway, our train made one more stop at another station in Naples on the outskirts on the high-speed line only, and after that we moved straight to Rome. Between Rome and Milan, our train made one more stop in Bologna, and apart from Milano Centrale, so the main railway station of Milan, we made one other stop at another smaller railway station in Milan. The main railway station of Rome Termini, is a terminal station, so this means the train changes direction over there. For now, I just show you some views I had from the train, and I'll be back with you at the very end of this video. Welcome to Milan. I hope you liked this video or this has been helpful to you. If so, once again, please give me a thumbs up on YouTube. I really appreciate that. Questions, feedback, comments, even if you just want to say hello, feel free to leave a comment. And if you'd like to see more trip reports of more sustainable ways of transportation, the main focus for this channel is long distance and or international traveling, where we definitely had a long distance train. But if you'd like to see more, then hit that subscribe button if you haven't done this already. Before we really end up this video, one last thing. Once again, thank you for watching my first video with a different kind of editing software. I used DaVinci for this video. Anyway, related videos can be found in the description of this video, where you also find a link to Trainline and you find a link to a map where you can find all videos as well, but then on a map in the description of this video. See you on the next one.